welcome everybody, and thank you for the people that I forced to come in here. I'm an advisor on the Conscious Fashion and Lifestyle Network platform, which is hosted by the United Nations, actually Office of Economic Development. So my job, and I have Rachel here to help you and help me get on and do these sorts of things, is to get the jewelry industry to join this network, because this is our spot in the UN. And I am the only jewelry person among many, many fashion people. It also includes, this network includes a lot of fashion right now is signed up. Many, we're just, so many people are signed up already. Interior design, lifestyle, makeup, perfume, and jewelry. So this is our place to be represented. Anyone who has a formal initiative that they work with, private, public, NGO, any kind of partnership models. This is the Office of Partnerships. Any partnership model can be a part of the network. And we really want to be represented because this is a growing voice within the family of UN, working on SDGs. This is a way to be included. This is a way to be seen. And we as a jewelry industry do fantastic things, and we want to be seen, and we want to have a spot, and this is our spot. Take it away, Rachel.
Okay. So the network is an online platform for, as Susan stated, industry stakeholders, media, governments, and UN system entities to show your public commitment to working towards the SDGs. For example, Virtue Gem was the partnership under which we signed up. It's a partnership model, as I think you all may have learned yesterday. It's under the Office of SDG Partnerships and the Division for Sustainable Development Goals, United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. And you can read the rest of the slide. These are the registered commitments on the SDGs that the registered partnerships have checked off. As you can see, number 12 is off the charts. That is the conscious consumption SDG. Here are some of the brands that are represented. We see Swarovski, we all know them. Susan?
Yeah, I think they're showing a lot of the larger brands that signed on earlier and that are represented. But we see in fashion, sometimes it's one fashion designer working in a community. That's a partnership. So any sort of a measurable partnership that's formalized can be there. So this space really is for the entrepreneurs, for the individual jeweler, or a jeweler working with an NGO. That can all be here. So this is not, there's other areas for big corporations. This area of the UN is for you.
Small and big partnerships alike. Again, these are the member benefits. So it's more of why you should sign up and your dedicated commitment to being a part of the UN. Do you want to talk about the advisory meetings?
Sure. So there are advisory meetings where we go over all the new partnerships and we talk. I'm learning a lot because I don't know a lot about fashion. I'm learning about blue jeans and water, things that I never knew about before. One of the things that I like is that you're invited to side meetings for any UN events. So once you sign up, there'll be meetings that they think would be of interest to fashion or jewelry, and I can always write and say, if you say, oh wow, that meeting looks good, can we get a link to that? You can virtually attend a lot of the UN meetings, which is wonderful. When you become a part of the network, then you're in touch with other people in the network. So, you can talk about your partnerships, you can see what other people are doing, learn from each other. It's always great to be a part of that. I love that about it. And yeah, I think the more jewelry we get on there, then also people see what the jewelry industry is doing. Fighting mercury. Toby's not here yet. Fighting mercury. Working with the ASM. This is a great way to get you know, as I don't know what blue jeans, what's happening there, people in the fashion industry that we consider traditional clothing wearing fashion, they don't know what we're doing. And there's a lot of value for us spreading that, you know, to this audience of other private, you know, corporations, entrepreneurs, the other people out there, you know, that we're working in line with, kind of parallel to, right? Oh, and then, you know, your name will be on the list if somebody's looking for a speaker within the UN, with other organizations. You're on a list there, so you can submit your profile. Maybe they'll want to hear, you know, what you're doing. So then you get on that list. Yeah, and the side events, which of course I love listening into. And
the network is kind of like a public directory for people to get a snapshot of your project. So you can search VirtuGem, you can search any of those brands that were previously listed. You can select and search by SDG. So if you're interested in no poverty, no food, decent work conditions, you can check which registered partnerships are working on those projects. So we're going to look at the website now, just to give you a brief idea. So this is the website. Excuse me, I'm working on a Mac.
you need some help there?
No, I don't. And this is the partnership, general SDG partnership site, but you just have to search the Conscious Fashion Network site, and it's under the same umbrella. But you just have to Google it instead of, it's hard to find on here in classic UN fashion. I know. It's true. So you can browse the registry.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, it's voluntary, it's self-selecting.
There's an advisory board that looks over the applications.
There's an advisory board that reviews applications. Is there a commitment to ongoing participation or reporting, or
What's the framework?
what are you actually signing up for?
Do you want to go to the side page and show?
Yes, it just did me.
But you don't have to change your plan. I was just curious.
Yes, there is. So you are supposed to update your own page. So the advisory board in this system is new, because I think there was rainbow washing in the past when the SDGs first came out. They spent a long time putting these questions together. So when you look at it now, it does look more like you're writing a little mini grant, because it will ask about, we're going to get to that and kind of go through those, but it will ask about your reporting, and then there will be questions about how you're going to update it. Now, I don't know, and that's a really good question that I will ask. Will there be a review? Because now, that there's hundreds, probably thousands by the end of the year of commitment makers here. Will there be a review every year of, are people upholding that, or will they go through and eliminate if it's been a year and there's no updates and no new data? That's a question I don't know the answer to right now. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to have yeah?
I have a question. I hear you calling for NGOs and grant writers to join this. How can designers and retailers, what does that look like for us? Is this benefit? Is there a place for us? So if you have
something that you're working on, and I don't know if you do or you don't, but I could say like Andrea is a jewelry designer that's doing a workshop and working with minors. So as this initiative, I would see that as being something that should be on this site, as well as a larger initiative like one that PACT would have, Moyo, or I'm sure there's multiple ones that are larger initiatives, also can be on this website. So whether it's a jewelry designer who's doing one thing with the community, but it's formalized, it's a real thing with measurable outcomes and a mission in line with the SDGs, She works with women, that's one of the SDGs. Working with clean water and clean environment, another SDGs. So as long as there is a real initiative there with measurables and a mission, and then, the advisory board reviews it and everything. So there's place for both there. Welcome, Brian. Questions before we go into the thing?
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I've been working 1.5 years with the local agency for the UN. We produce Jewelry for Change, the monthly webinar with them, and I didn't book that. So first thing I will do is I will register the initiative of Jewelry for Change, and then the way we work with these local artisanal ancestral miners and traditional jewelers in bringing international designers to work with us. I will put all of them there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, the conference, Responsible Chicago Conference is on here too. Ethical Metalsmiths can be there as a membership organization, right? That's a partnership organization that's working for change in the jewelry industry. So Ethical Metalsmiths should be there. So, events as well, membership organizations. You can see earlier there was a standards organization. It's factual, it's not really my thing, but, so there's a lot of flexibility there in the types of organizations and the types of partnerships.
Because you don't have to speak for the UN, so if I did my question, it
Thank you.
puts you on the hot seat, I apologize. I have been so curious to know how this global tallying of private commitments to the SDGs graduate up to national level reporting on progress that then becomes international level on progress. Does anybody?
Doesn't. Not really. I mean, a little bit, but not in meaningful ways.
It's more like
There's other aggregators,
yeah.
but
It's more like
I won't say. Yeah, I mean, this is a great initiative, and especially with visibility and community building. But the metrics is a big gap.
But from our small dot of sun, locally, the UN Pact works a lot with private companies. And I think they do two very important things that create impact. Communication and networking. And they are very active in offering contents that are valuable for the different organizations and raise awareness and raise consideration and propel change. How much do these companies are just greenwashing and not doing anything? But I think in raising awareness and in offering contents that are relevant and that propel change, they do a very good work. I don't know this particular website, but I think in Colombia they're doing a good work in trying to raise awareness. I mean, very few people are even thinking of working towards the objectives for sustainable development.
And the one that you're involved with is the UN Global Compact, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just stepped in here late, but for example, the municipality where I'm working for the related courts, the mayor is very progressive, and he's one of the first from Brazil to be on this register for the SDGs. And so I'm just wondering, can I bring that to the municipality, or once I get the lapidary school up and running, we could use that to fit in here?
Yeah. Right now, the issue that you do with regenerative farming around mines would be interesting to have up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you're working with the miners, your local government knows about it. I mean, that's something that, people that aren't in the jewelry industry could see. This is how we're working on SDGs. We're working on sustainability. You're working on food and hunger. I think that, that's, put it up there. Write it out, fill it out, think it out so that, it qualifies and it goes up there, because these are the sort of, this is the spot for these smaller initiatives that entrepreneurs do when they're partnering with communities. It's the kind of thing that we need to talk about and people need to see.
Right.
And Rachel, could you please send us the link?
Of course.
Thank you very, very much.
I'm looking forward to looking at the list, just to find new things I didn't know about. Because you think you know everyone and then you don't,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm looking forward to seeing who will sign up for the jewelry, so I can like meet them and like see where, and, well, yeah, here too, obviously.
We're starting
Right, yeah.
here because we don't, besides Swarovski, which was kind of, they got the first one in there. There's not a lot because that's my job to get people on, and I'm surprised some people in this room I've mentioned it to and haven't gotten on. So, let's do it.
And one suggestion, and it could be done here and in other forums, we need to work hard because the UN and other large institutions, when they think about fashion, they think about shoes and clothes. And the damage that jewelry can be making is huge. So we need to start changing their mindset and say, okay, let's segment, let's not speak about fashion. Why not open a space specific for jewelry that is using minerals? Because it's a totally different supply chain.
Asked. That was the
we
first
can work
thing
on
when
it.
we went under fashion, was I said, we're not fashion, we have mining, we have other things to go on. This is the space we have.
Yeah.
And and I'm just saying that because I agree with you, it'd be nice to have a different space, but this is a space we're invited to. This is a space we have as jewelers. And what we are doing is, I'm saying to people, when you say fashion jewelry, we think of, not fine jewelry, and what we are is fine jewelry. So if, in the language that you receive, we make sure now that we're saying, jewelry in this fashion network.
No
But
doubt it is a
these are the
start.
nuances that we're aware of.
Yeah, we just have to follow and develop the tools, and this is a start.
No, I was just thinking about what Anna is saying about the fact that jewelry is a little bit apart, but I think that it's interesting that sometimes you are also considered as part of the fashion industry, and I do think that it would be really good to also have some of you, for example, participating in initiative like Fashion Revolution, which is actually a very visible campaign, and I think there is room to have more jewelers there, talking about what you are doing, how you are changing things, and also talking about what is happening at the beginning of the supply chain with the miners, and also the cutters and the manufacturers and so on. There is room to talk to.
You're totally right, Morgan, because when I walked into, we had our meeting actually in person at the UN, and when I was talking to people at Rag & Bone, which I love their clothes, it's like we were talking from different planets. But through this, there is, the different fashion networks to get involved with, to start working more together, because the world sees us as underneath that umbrella of fashion. They see us there. But to start working, and then another great thing out of this is the fashion press, because we may not always get press within the jewelry industry, but guess who's hungry to report on this stuff? The fashion press. Vogue. You've got Vogue Sustainable. You've got Vanity Fair with Annabelle. You've got fashion press. WWD works very closely with this network. So that's an opportunity for us to really step out in who we're used to talking to, in who we're engaging with, because we really need to go there.
Susan, one thing that I'm really present to right now is I come every year, I've been a part of it, but I'm noticing that I haven't brought people. I get so much out of being here. I'm so inspired by what you and everybody has put together that, and I'm showing up, but I'm not bringing people. And bringing people would fulfill what I'm committed to. So I'm saying that's just been really absent for me. And I would welcome a push on that, from that, to break out of the busyness that I'm living in to, this is really important.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Have you found, so that the fact that this becomes a searchable thing, have you found that there are any terms in particular that we could collectively be using in our applications to, in other words, create that attention on jewelry? Could we strategize a list of words to work into our proposals so that when somebody goes in looking for whatever, responsible jewelry or ethical jewelry, or I know we're trying to shy away from those terms, I'm a big advocate of shying away, but we use them for SEO purposes, you know.
That's a great idea.
Really in a committed way.
Yeah, let's do it. And I have noticed that, you know, we've been when I'm redoing my website and I Google it, that they do put you at one of the top of the Google list. I mean, you show up just because you're in here. So it is helpful. Yeah, and I think that that's great. I think for all of us to be, you know, showing up there when you talk about UN SDGs and for our jewelry initiatives to be showing up in the top of the pages is great. So, Rachel, do you want to do a little walkthrough so that people can see how you write in all those boxes that they ask?
Well, they provided a PDF that shows you and describes what you need to fill out in each box, which is extremely helpful for when you're signing up.
Yeah,
And we can
Rachel had to read each one to me numerous times. Wait, let's see, explain that to me in English.
I think that was a little bit of a problem, Susan. I remember looking at it and being like,
And you,
Right.
and you write grants, and you
Well,
thought it was a little bit.
yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
quite onerous for what I was going to get out of it and the limited amount of time that we all have to try to do our jobs. Like, I remember you told me this. I told you, I listened.
Yeah.
I went on and then I'm like, I give up.
Same
Like,
here.
is this real? There's 7,000 people listed here. Like, how's it going to help Pure Earth do our work in the field? And, you know, versus the UN supporting me, it's just taking my time. But I'm going to go to the airport and sit down and, you know, and try to do it. But it seemed, I don't remember everything, but I remember trying and thinking,
Yeah.
who's got
Well,
the time
Yeah,
for
I
this?
did try as well.
Well, that's
You
what
did
we're,
too,
that's actually
right?
what we're here on. We want to do hands-on, but let me just speak to
Yeah.
those interested in funding. I can't speak to this network, but I know in the other UN network, which is different, the Action Coalition that Maranghi Women's Alliance is on, people looking to fund that one found Maranghi Women's Alliance, reached out to them directly in the community, and I was able to write the grant just in time and get it in.
That's great.
So people do go in when they're looking to fund. They do go into these networks and they do look for what fits my mission. So I'm
Yeah.
not promising that any grant's going to come from it, but I do know that people who want to fund may look here and may come upon you. But you're right. And I hope there are thousands signed up because we need them signed up. But okay.
I came in late, sorry. Is this for existing businesses?
We want Roots to sign up for this.
You do?
Yeah, Roots Diamonds should be
Root
here.
Studios, because we have all the categories for each thing that we do.
Yeah.
But, you know, currently, it's not.
You guys,
Okay.
we're going to go through how you fill in the boxes.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
After browsing through the directory, some people put in very detailed descriptions. Some people put in pretty high-level descriptions of all lengths. And you can always come back and edit it if you want to change something. You set up a profile, and you can go in, and once your initial application is approved, they'll email you back and coordinate with you if you need to change any language. But you can always go back and change it, and it'll get updated again. So that's a consolation if you have something to change.
I need to reload my logo because it doesn't.
So this is, once you make your profile, this is what you'll see. It gathers all the basic information of your partnership. I think some of the coordinating mechanisms, the lead entity.
The UN.
Yeah.
Weird language.
It is correct.
That's what I need translation.
This is
Yeah.
this is why the application guide is here for us to use, as well as people who've already done it before, so we can help you. Hopefully someone will be a guinea pig later and we can sign you up in person, which would be fantastic. And I have this PDF available to share with anyone who who needs a little help for signing up. Do you have anything to say?
I'm just reading it. I mean, even seeing the PDF, sometimes I'm like, yeah, what is the implementation of methodology? I have to think about these a long time before I fill them out.
So do you, if you were talking about responsible jewelry transformative, let's say you're putting that up there, would you be saying that your implementation strategy is to partner with civil society organizations or nonprofit organizations in the countries that you're working? Or are you signing up as Susan Wheeler Design and your implementation strategy for doing good is through Responsible Jewelry Transformative? How would you?
I didn't sign up for Responsible Jewelry Transformative. I did sign up Chicago Responsible Jewelry Conference.
Okay,
So
yeah.
clearly describe how this initiative is carried out. It is a conference, for example, specific standards, mission statement, benchmarks. It's an annual conference. Events are managerial bodies. It's overseen by the Responsible Jewelry Transformative, not-for-profit. Done. Right?
Right.
That box is filled. Evaluations, provide any critical assessments or insights that not yet mentioned regarding the project and organization, for example, any particular strengths or results. You could put in quotes there, Christina Miller says, this is the best conference ever. It's really helped move the jewelry industry forward. Done. Okay. Beneficiaries, listed beneficiaries separate by comma. I could list civil society, people that have attended the conference, the region of attendees, NGOs that have talked there, who are the beneficiaries, giving a voice to, giving learning to, giving knowledge to. Done.
There's a quote by Sheryl Sandberg saying, done is better than perfect.
Exactly. just get through the boxes.
She hasn't accomplished anything.
Arrangement for capacity building and technology transfer. I'd asked Rachel 50 million times to translate this one for me. Please translate. I still need translation again.
So this is how you spread your word.
Yeah.
Social
Or how you
media,
work with other organizations.
your audience range, your audience impact, audience or knowledge sharing and projection of your spread, your project spread.
How you
Even that's hard to write down.
So I think like Moyo would be, we deliver health and safety training to local people to help build their capacity to improve their mining. That's one, as a capacity building. Technology transfer, I don't think that actually applies, so I won't even answer it.
Social
Next.
media. No, you do social media.
Yeah.
You do a website.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of like workshops and things like that. So
Yeah, you would
if
put all
Roots
that
were to
down.
do it, you could just say, work with local people to improve cutting in Sierra Leone. That.
So also say your plan for expanding and resources.
What?
Your plan for expanding and resources. That's kind of how that translates.
Oh, okay.
Capacity building?
Yeah, capacity building, expanding.
It's usually about like, capacity building is usually about like workshops or
Yeah.
improving people's
Yeah.
knowledge levels.
Oh, do you have, sorry, was there a question on the
Yeah.
line? Oh, we have an online question.
Any
Yes,
questions?
someone's asking, how do we get in touch with the women speaking on behalf of conscious fashion?
Oh. Info at responsiblejewelrytransformative.org.
We'll drop the link in the chat in a little bit.
Yeah. Are there more boxes to fill out?
Yeah.
And it will tell you which SDGs, so hit them all. Gender equity, technology and all, and I should have them, Rachel should be able to say all of them.
The slide previously was the longest one. You fill out dates, you put it in image, and then you're done.
Yeah. Okay. And you got a jewelry friend on the advisory board. I like that initiative. Put that in. Check.
This one, for your delivery of, your description of deliverable, can you remember what we put down?
Did we have to put down the year-end date? I
Well,
remember
for-
that was confusing when we first looked at it. We thought, well, this is ongoing.
Yeah.
How do we address that?
For example, for Virtue Gem, one deliverable would be to show that we've made sales. And that's a measurable thing you can say, I've done 1 or I've done 100.
Yeah, I think that.
So you could put in 10 years out data.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, why don't we go back to the resources devoted to delivery type? So that's what money you put into it?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be your own funding, it could be, where's Patricia, World Bank funding, you know, any partner, oh, there she goes, you're just kidding. It could be any of the funding that you have to go in there, even if self-funding.
So the type there's, in the drop-down, it's staffing, financial resources, technological resources. There's 4 options, and you can choose which resource best fits what you have in your plan.
And Martin, if it's for you, you can say donated time
Oh,
or
yeah.
in-kind support.
No, I mean, your time is worth it, and
Yeah.
that's why, absolutely.
That's NGO talk.
But I mean, this being for the small entrepreneurs, it's not like, you know, anyone's getting $1 million from somebody else to do stuff, so
Yeah.
put it in, that's.
And then this is the last part. You pick out your SDGs. Each SDG, if you look on the main SDG page, expands into very long, detailed descriptions, but here you just pick the main ones. And then this is the last part you have to do before you submit. And it takes a couple days, and you'll get an email saying you're approved, or you need to edit a section.
It's more than a couple of days, we only have meetings every quarter.
Yeah, or however long
Yeah.
it takes.
It
So
takes
we-
a while, because we have advisory meetings every quarter to go over that.
For Root Studios, we already have, you know, curriculums, and each curriculum we have on our website already boxed out which UN things
Perfect.
apply to each one, so we can do that cumulatively.
Hit them all,
Yeah. Okay,
hit all the
cool.
ones that you work on.
Cool.
Check, check, check. And then you'll come up in that bar graph, and then when somebody looks for who's working on ensuring health and safety, maybe they'll hit the green one, and you'll be one of those
Cool.
many people that's there. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
This is my last slide.
Well, does anyone want to, I mean, we can turn the video off if anyone wants help, looking at, we can do one-on-one, how to fill out boxes.
So do you review applications every time there's a meeting? Is that a core
Yes.
business action when the group meets?
Yes,
So in,
but I'm the only jewelry person there. So far, that's okay, because we're just starting with this room.
but to say that a reasonable expectation for hearing back would be 3 months.
Yes.
Okay. And then you might get a request to edit rather than approval. So it could take 3 to 6 months to actually get approved. That doesn't sound bad to me.
No,
I'm just
I
trying to-
haven't seen that. People usually come with questions, but like, you know, since there's not other, you know, a lot of other jewelry people, the questions are probably gonna go to me at this point, and I see, so I could bring them back.
I know all of this.
But yeah, I mean,
Okay.
definitely I would bring back the questions and ask about it, so. But I don't see, I mean, everyone that I have here, I know that these are all good initiatives, and these are all ones, you know, that the world should know about.
So what's the login for that, or?
I can send you the link. Yeah, and then you create account.
Cool.
Yeah, if you look up, what is it, SDG partnerships, if you Google that.
SDG Partnerships, Conscious Fashion Network.
Conscious Fashion Network, and then you'll see the sign up area.
Okay, not Conscious Fashion Lifestyle Network, but that.
Oh, no,
Can
the
you
one that,
s-
whatever was up there, it's a long name.
Can we see it?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
There we go.
Oh, search for
So
that.
Conscious Fashion Lifestyle Network, Google that, and then it'll have a big join.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks.